Hello and welcome to another edition of the Moving Iron Podcast. This podcast is proudly provided by Axon, helping dealers move more iron for almost 100 years. Find out more at axontire.com. Axon was started almost 100 years ago out of a passion for keeping agriculture moving. It's that same passion that drives them today. With a vision for a better experience for both farmer and dealer, they set out to create a better way to move more iron. When you partner with Axon, you get immediate access to a full range of products and solutions designed to meet the complex needs of today's grower. Axon carries all major brands and sizes of tires, wheels, and tracks. From custom colors and sizes to fully customized wheels, you can have the solution for virtually any problem today's farmer is trying to solve. To find more or become an Axon dealer, please visit axontire.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here. Moving iron.
Hello and welcome to Moving Iron Podcast. This edition of the Moving Iron Podcast is brought to you by Axon Tire, helping dealers move more iron for the past 100 years. For more information, go to axontire.com. Also, go to tractorzoom.com if you're looking to find the best place to track what's going on in the auction marketplace. They have 500 different auction houses that report back to them with all the great information that is going on in the auction market. So it's a great way to measure trends and see what's happening. So if you're interested in doing that, when you go to Iron Comps and you said that you want to do that, use Moving Iron at checkout, and you get yourself a nice little discount. So this week I have Aaron Fintel back with us. It's been a little bit since Aaron's been on the show, but we have got back together. Both of us have been extremely busy with all the stuff we have going on in our lives, and Aaron just consistently makes his life busier on purpose, I think. So, but Aaron's been he's a full-fledged hay guy this summer, so he's got his real job and his part-time job, and then he's got his hobby, which is, I guess, I don't know which one's his hobby, the sheep or the hay, but one of the two are as a hobby, right?
Yeah.
Right.
They're both completely pointless, so whatevs, man.
So, but no, nonetheless, it's good to have Aaron back on here, and, you know, I made a fairly bold prediction back in probably May that the combine market was going to get super wicked hot this summer, and as we kind of lean towards that August, September, stretch into the harvest time frame there, kind of feel like I was right.
To a point.
Okay.
The long pause for dramatic effect.
But here's the reason why I think if you really want to start to kind of measure the numbers and what they look like. Back on July 1st, there were just south of 10,000 combines in the marketplace. I don't remember the exact number, but it was like 9,980 something, right? That was the first time that the market...
What was the total number?
Less than 10,000.
Less than 10,000.
So that's the first time since, August of 2014 that combines have ever dropped below 10,000.
So there's 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if there's 10,000 spoons and all you need is a knife.
Yeah, isn't that ironic?
It is. Yeah. Don't you think?
I do sometimes, yeah.
Do you? So 10,000 used combines in the marketplace. So we're down to 9,000, 12 and 13 S-Series combines.
Pretty much. Yeah, the stuff that's not left. So just kind of real quick recap of what this looks like. So you had 9,980-ish, at July 1st. You had 10,600 about July 15th. So it really shot up. You had 700 combines.
Right, which we kind of alluded to that. That was the harvester roll kind of happening. And you're south of I-80 probably farmer combines for fall.
Yep. So now just look back up here, and we're recording this on August 2nd or August 3rd, and there are 10,178 combines. So basically the month kind of went back to where it started, right? We're not below 10,000, but we were barely below 10,000 to start with. So combine marketplace is kind of in that, if you go back and kind of look at this year, the entire combine marketplace has kind of bounced around between 10,000 and 11,000 combines, right? Never been this low, never been this close to the 10,000 part of the, between the 10,000 and 11,000 mark, but this is as low as it's been in some while, so I guess when I take a look at what's going on,
Do you have the data in there? I know you do, but do you have it readily available? When is the last time it was under 10? That was the
we don't
the
have
14?
the data. We don't have that since August of 2014. It's never been below 10,000.
Okay.
So I'm guessing
That's all
probably-
the further the data goes
Right.
back is 14.
I'm guessing you'd have to go back to like 12,
I bet.
maybe 13.
Think about this though. There's less farmers. Bigger farms, bigger machines.
Right.
Sheer number of machines has got to be shrinking. They can't be selling as many 780s as they were 4400s.
Well, yeah, but you look at the number of 9770s that got replaced with S series combines. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's almost a 1-for-1. You know what I mean? I mean, about everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we were. A lot of dealerships were selling 80 to 100 combines in the heart of combine country,
Right.
As a whole, right? So I mean, if you really take a look at all of that, stuff that's happening, there's plenty of things out there that show that the combine market. Now, the weird thing about the combine market though is there's plenty of people looking at combines. There's plenty of people wanting to buy combines, but there's not a mad rush to get that combine that you would think there would be, like we saw in tractors, right? Because we have several combines that are what we consider late model, low houred, less than 400 separator hour combines, right? And it's not, we might sell one or two here and there, and this week and then next week we might sell, one or two here and there, and then so on and so forth. But it's not this rush,
Right.
to get that combine,
Right.
You know what I mean, I think it'll come after. I think there's a lot of apprehension right now. If you go back and really look at what the markets are doing, we're in the middle of a drought, right? Depending on where you're at,
Right.
and you read some things on Twitter, and the sky is falling, and it's I'm growing pineapples out here in my field, and then the next Twitter feed is I've got 700 bushel corn, and it's the best corn crop ever,
Right. Right.
And the truth is, the average is somewhere in the middle right now. So I think a lot of folks are just sitting back going, okay, look, I got my planter situation taken care of. I've got my tractor situation taken care of. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait to make sure that I've got enough money to pay for what I've already bought, right? And now I'm going to upgrade my combine. I think the combine rush,
You think it'll be post-harvest?
I really do. I think it's going to be...
Well, hell, it's going to have to be. It's August 2nd.
Well, but I think it's going to be a hotter market than normal, than what we normally see.
I get that.
I think
get
I think the primary focus in that our traditional September to the December timeframe is going to be combines. It's not going to be as heavy tractors and as heavy planters and as heavy sprayers as we have seen in the past. I think combines are going to be the one thing.
It won't
that
be
will
tractors because there aren't any.
Well, there aren't any. That's true.
There are none.
But the one thing about that is kind of a key factor there is, I think even if there were tractors to get, I'm not so...
There was so much tractor activity the last 18 months that it's got to be saturated to this minute.
Now, the dark horse in all this could be a sprayer. Because the sprayer market we did have some movement in the spring with sprayers, but you got to remember that was early spring, like January, February, March timeframe, before we hit that where we're at now in the corn price. The corn price is coming up there, but everyone's like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy.
See, and I think we had more of a sprayer spike like May.
We did. We sold.
I feel like the sprayer market was just nothing, not a damn thing, and then one or two in April, and then in May
it took off. Yeah.
We're out of sprayers. In 15 days. Like, what in the hell just happened?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too was, again, there were sprayers out there to be had.
Right.
A lot of late model, lower houred stuff out there to be had, and we used to have people fighting over these old co-op machines, that 2,500 hours on them because they were an R series sprayer, 1 or 2 year old R series sprayer that had
budget friendly R series sprayer.
Very much so. Now we transition that over. I really think if I'm looking at this from my got my crystal ball out here and I'm trying to predict what's going on. My play is combines are going to be hot September to December, and it wouldn't surprise me to see sprayers come on in late 2021. I'm talking like November, December.
Gotcha.
Because somebody could have came in and said, I got my combine now, found the one I want, and then I'm going to go talk to the tax man. He's like, you know what? You probably could spend, $80,000 or whatever. Oh, cool. I'll go out and get, I can go out and make that down payment on that sprayer or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So now they're looking at, no, I got a combine, I got a sprayer, I got my heads, I got the planter situation that I want going into 22. I don't have brand new stuff, but I got newer stuff to me.
Right.
And what's out there. So they've kind of piecemealed that whole used equipment picture together. Now, the flip side of that is, with the way availability is and the way things are going right now, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, third quarter, fourth quarter, 22.
Oh my God!
Because that's when I think you got to really start paying attention to the marketplace, because it's going to go from a trickle to open the floodgates, the emergency floodgates, because there's going to be a lot of equipment that hits the market then.
Yes. And it's all identical. What does that feel like?
Right. But the thing about it is, there's going to be, the demand is going to be there for it.
Yeah. 3 years from now, we will be cussing them 21s. God, can we get rid of them 21s? Judas.
The good thing about this, though, the nice thing about the situation we're in now compared to the situation that we were in 10, 11, 12, is that they had the production capacity.
Yeah.
There wasn't a pandemic going on at the time that was jacking with, the supply chain and everything else.
Microchips.
Right, exactly. So, if you really start to put that in perspective, it's just, we're actually kind of going to be in a good spot, because we won't have this incredibly
We're not getting oversupplied.
Right.
The demand isn't getting oversupplied.
Right,
so.
exactly. So, and then
people are still wanting and still needing.
Yeah.
So that won't be such a choke.
Right. My numbers, my year's 2025 when we see a leveling out of the marketplace, where supply catches up with demand. Because it's going to be the 23s that get sold that you start looking at how they start coming into play in 25, and the 24s that get sold and how they start playing in 25. So those to me, that's when I think we're going to start seeing this huge spike in equipment and availability and not so much. I don't think the demand's going to go anywhere, but the supply is going to catch up with the demand. So it's going to feel like, where'd everybody go? I mean, I had like 23 guys out here beating down my door to get this one piece of equipment. Now I've got like 15. This sucks. You know what I mean? That's the problem you're going to run into.
Right.
You know what I mean? I only have 10 guys now that want to buy this. And not
I know.
It's horrible.
Hey, how's things going? Oh, kind of slow. Only sold like 6 tractors this week. What?
So I think there's going to be that melding there. So now, speak to that a little bit from the perspective of, how many guys are looking at combines that you're talking to?
Not enough.
Okay.
Not enough. It has been the quietest combine discussions from an end user standpoint.
Okay.
The quietest in the last 3 months in a long time.
Yeah.
Is that because they ordered new?
No, I think it kind of goes back to
what you were saying about combines.
Yeah. I think
so. That just proved you right.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I
Boy,
guess.
that is unfortunate as hell. but the wholesale world on combines, like, surprised routinely by the prices.
Yeah.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Did you just say yes? They didn't take 8 times?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it don't get me wrong. I mean, it's not like combines are selling at advertised price, but
right, yeah.
But they're less of a puke in your mouth and more of just a verp now.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You get that, it stays, it gets to the esophagus, goes back down, but you get that burn.
Yeah, you get just the lingering burn, exactly what you're talking about. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I think when we look at this and we see what's going on, I think that there's going to be a greater amount of
buzz.
But I think it's going to be some
fanfare.
There's going to be some carryover into the first of the year too, though. I think there are going to be some guys that just wait and defer income.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to defer an income into that first quarter of the year, and they're going to look and see what they've got.
Yep.
And really step back and think. Here's the other thing that this spurs. Something that we didn't.
San Antonio?
Well, yeah, it could be. Great basketball program there. But the one thing about that we've never talked about on here is that when prices get like this, the first thing guys start to look at is on-farm storage.
Yeah.
They're really stepping back and going like, add another bin. I can really play this game. If I'd have had X percent of more storage, I could have weathered some more of these bad times.
And if guys pay attention to marketing, my God, bins are expensive, man. They are expensive. But nothing pays for itself.
Oh.
You can pay for that damn bin in one good marketing move.
Exactly.
And then it's yours.
Yeah. So that's some. I've actually had.
So I get that.
I've had some conversations with guys like, you know what, I'd like to update my combine this year, but I'm thinking about adding another bin, and maybe 22 is when I'm going to have that update my combine, or we'll just see how this year plays out. And maybe I update my bins, add another bin over here, and I go.
We're going to put in 3 million flat storage, a 10,000 bushel pit, and I want 3 X9s. Right on, let's do her.
But yeah, so I think there's going to be some plays out there too where what guys are doing outside of the equipment, like the quote-unquote equipment side of the business, and start looking at maybe, I've had the same grain trailer for 15 years.
Right, trucks, trailers.
Those kind of things.
So all the support equipment.
Yeah, so a lot more support equipment I think is going to get some much-needed focus, right? I mean...
Mama's house. Mama's house. Yeah. Mama is a Suburban. That is all going to be brand new.
Right. Yeah, and you start putting...
Didn't you guys remodel in 12? Yeah, but corn hit $6 again.
Yeah. So. But you have that set up, but then you start looking at... look at some of these grain carts. Holy crap. How many bushels have been ran through grain carts? The flighting on inside of some of those things, you're going to be lucky to auger out grapefruits. You know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
So it's some of the stuff is
if you can slide your hand in the tube and check for holes, the flighting is bad.
That's right. Yeah. So I think it's just one of those deals where there's a wish list a mile long.
Yeah. Wow.
And some of the stuff they can go ahead and get the combine ready to run. Put it back together the best they want to put it back together, and then start looking at some of the support equipment stuff.
Right. But a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys. There's a chunk of guys who haven't done a damn thing. Their whole farm looks like the booth at Husker Harvest Days in 13.
Right.
Yeah. There's still those guys out there, but for the most part, guys have. They might have been. I bought all new in 12, and then they went back to the real world.
Right.
But they kept with it, maybe not in every year, maybe like in every 3 or something, and they bought a 2-year-old the last time, but they're updating, and I think that's why, like us personally, if someone wanted a 12 for 13, it's slim pickings.
Right. That's a good point.
They're going.
What used to be the Achilles heel is not necessarily the problem. I can't point to any one piece of equipment right now and say that, man, this is going to be a struggle.
I can.
Okay, what is it?
Use forage harvesters.
I don't think so. I think you're...
I know. I always have to throw rocks at them. I love them and adore them, but God bless. Between that and a Ropa...
Well, you're going to
buy something more specialized?
Are you going to lump a forage harvester into a Ropa?
Yeah.
And put them on the same playing field?
I am.
Okay, that's you know what that is? That's like saying that a high school track athlete and an Olympic track athlete are the same.
There you go.
The common thing is they perform in a track event. That's the common theme there, right?
No, but you're right. There's not one specific thing that is a dumpster fire right now.
There's still some things out there of concern. There's a lot of, here's a good example. I think older tillage equipment is going to be an issue because that older stuff is getting traded in on newer stuff, and no one wants to take their 10 or 15-year-old whatever. That's
right. Even the guy with a 50 series tractor wants a 2015 disc.
Right. Yeah, and I think so. again, now you're talking about equipment that you start talking about stress fractures and
the bigger it
wheel
is, the bigger,
breaks, and those kind of things. It's been patched up 43 times, and it's heavier now than it was when you bought it. When you bought it new, so it's all those things start to play into effect there. But I could see there could be an issue with used tillages, and especially as fad related as tillage is, right? I mean, there's always a new fad in tillage, whatever it's, whether it's vertical tillage or high speed discs or whatever it is. There's always a new latest and greatest thing, and it's about every 5 years that some comes out that. Guess what I figured out? I figured out the X that's going to get, this is going to make your, either minimum till practice or no till practice the best thing since sliced bread.
Yep.
Right? And
exactly.
So, I mean, you see something there. And I could see some support equipment issues, some used support equipment issues that could cause some backup. But if it's got wheels and a motor, there's going to be a buyer for it somewhere. Totally across the board. Somewhere. And I think
at some number.
Yeah. There'll be somebody that wants to buy that piece of equipment.
True.
So let's talk about the hay market here a little bit. Because we are in that phase, depending on where you're at. You could be second cutting or third cutting, or in some places you're fourth cutting, depending on where you're at. But that's the one marketplace right now that is very strong because of the drought that we see happening in the northern plains, right?
Right.
There's a lot of equipment, that is getting purchased, and a lot of alfalfa that's getting cut, that's getting hauled a long ways.
Oh yeah.
To get it up there, and especially up in the Dakotas. Get out in western part of the United States, you start looking at Utah and Arizona and Nevada and those kind of places. It's just hard right now to find.
Well, think about it. We're on a main vein for western Dakotas and Montana.
Yep.
And it is just hay truck, man.
It is.
Once in a while, you see one going south, and you're like, where the hell are you going? Other way, man.
North is 180 degrees other direction. But, yeah, so, I mean, you start looking at that. Again, you start looking at supply of machines out there. You've got balers are, I don't want to say used balers are in short supply, but they're not readily available either.
No.
You know what I mean? The one thing that is in short supply are windrowers.
Very.
I mean, it's hard to find a windrower right now that's not,
If it runs, it's sold.
Right. So you've seen Over the Top, right?
Yeah, a long time ago.
So at the opening scene of that, he's trucking through the mountains, and he's got a Heston windrower and a Massey Ferguson baler, I think, or it might be vice versa.
Shitting me?
It's a Heston windrower, and it's got the sickle on the front. And it's like sitting. I don't know how I can't remember that. But then there's like a Heston little square baler.
Oh no shit!
Yeah, hawk trucking. And I was watching that the other night with my kids. I was like, "Here's a good one. We can watch this one. I've seen this one in a while." But so when I was thinking about that, it kind of made me start thinking about windrowers a little bit in the market. And I'm like, oddly enough, what's on the back of that truck is about what's available right now for windrowers. You know what I mean? That's kind of what's available right now.
Exactly.
And so it was so when was that movie made? Like 85?
Yeah, I was going to say 85, 86.
So it was a brand new
6650 Heston.
fresh out of Kansas.
There you go.
Trekking its way. They were in, I don't know, Montana or someplace, I can't remember where they're at. But I started looking at that, and that made me think about that a little bit as, there's not, especially sickle, and that's something that's out here that has really kind of come back. There are guys asking for sickle heads and stuff. I mean, not saying like sickle heads have been like an abomination and people have, but there's a lot more folks out here right now that are looking at grass as a basically, this is my choice this year.
Right.
This is what I've got, and I might cut it once.
And it's 6 inches tall, so you got to have a sickle.
Right. So, in your neck of the woods, where you're up doing your thing at, talk about that a little bit and what you're seeing as far as kind of the machinery you see running around out there.
Oh, it is absolutely to a T. I have not seen a rotary in a grass field, and I have not seen a sickle on a pivot.
Okay.
Because being in, well, 2/3 of western 2/3 of a big ass county, drive by a lot of fields, and getting to where you're going and everything. And there have been everybody that I have seen on a pivot has been a self-propelled, except two different triple mowers.
Yeah.
And everybody in a meadow has a sickle.
Yeah.
And I have seen guys cutting like a quarter, 160 acre field with an old canvas rig, stick steer.
Yeah.
And, some jackasses over here with a 05 in a pivot corner, and it just depends on what they got going, But yeah, it is. I have not seen any crossover whatsoever.
Yeah. And usually you do. You'll see some of that.
Yeah.
You got a good mix of, get a rotary guy out in the payment.
And I've seen some of the real professional hay guys have both this year.
Yeah.
Because I got a buddy that does it too, and he got both this year.
Yeah.
He was always a die-hard rotary man because you can go 18 mile an hour if you can sit in the seat.
Right.
And he got a sickle. It still has his rotary, but he also got a sickle just because if you're going to go get some grass, because everything is short, that grass is damn short.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's
I've spent a lot of hours cutting 1 foot tall, 18-inch tall crested wheat, man, and that's what's there.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just a different feel right now because you can feel that guys are out there that are looking to upgrade something. They're looking to upgrade something that what they're looking at is this is what I got.
Right.
This is my choice. So I'm going to go with that over there. And
exactly.
That's going to be it. Okay. All right. So last topic here, and we'll wrap it up. As you step back and you take a look at what's going on, and you're really kind of diving into there, what's your thoughts on used corn heads as we go into this?
They have been super hot.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're all going because there's like 2010s. Mm-hmm. They're not just 700s. I mean, right. 700s are out, gone. But even like older 6s are moving.
Right.
Now, what I also know is there is a lot of Milo planted in this world.
Okay.
So I think there could be, because I know, when was that? 17 or 18, it seemed like the entire western half of Kansas was Milo. Mm-hmm. And I bet I sold 10 old corn heads in 2 weeks. Yeah. And every damn one of them went and got one of them arrow conversions.
Right.
A lot of them were 1293s, some 612s. You can't even find 93s anymore. Hardly. They're all exported and down south and God knows where. Right. So I think that is probably what's driving that lower cost corn head.
The 612C all crop?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, they have I've noticed that too, is that some of the, like 612Cs, 1243s, like those kind of style, those era of machines, you can't really find them anywhere.
Right.
And, 2 years ago, we were like, what are we going to do with all that? Who's going to want something like this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we take them on trade. And
which was funny because, like, 4 years ago, we had to buy 15 of them during harvest.
Right, yeah.
We were that short.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that market plays out. And I think that there's it feels like to me, and obviously we just talked about it, but it really feels like to me that a lot of guys are looking at their 5 or 6 year old corn head and saying, I'm going to go ahead and upgrade that this year, and I'll upgrade my combine next year, or we're just going to see how things play out
after harvest.
Yep.
Once you have the scale tickets, it's a whole different ballgame.
Right. Exactly. Well, good stuff as usual, Aaron. Folks want to reach out to you and get more information about what it is you're doing and just some of the, I'd say sweet deals, but there's,
as sweet as I can make them now with what I got.
You got the portfolio of 5 pieces of equipment. So I mean, you basically get the portfolio of a single store dealership that might have just a little too much inventory.
There you go. Yeah.
What's the best
Sorry
way to
about
go
the other
over?
15. Best way to get a hold of me, 308-760-1193. Call me or text me. Text me is usually a surefire way. That's that, or I'm on the Ag Twitterverse once in a while, at AARonFintel. That's kind of the scoop, man.
Right on. Well, you can find me at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's where all the latest editions of the Moving Iron Podcast will be found. Also, go to MovingIronLLC.com if you want to get more information about the Moving Iron Podcast and the blogs I have out there. Also, time is about up, so if you want to come to the Moving Iron Summit, I think that you have about 2-3 more days to really get that hemmed up, maybe a week to kind of get that hemmed up, and then it'll probably be sold out. So. If you're interested in doing that, go to MovingIronLLC.com, go up in the navigation bar, click Moving Iron Summit, and all the information that you need to find for the Moving Iron Summit is up there. So hotel information, agendas, meeting registration, whatever you need to find is there. If the answer is not there that you're looking for, send me an email at MovingIronPodcast@MovingIronPodcast.com, and I'll be happy to get back to you. So with that, I am Casey Seymour with Aaron Fennell. Let's go loose some iron, folks. Out.
You want to have a meaningful competitive advantage to help sell more equipment. Whether you represent the sales, parts, or management department of an implement dealership, there's a surprising amount of complexity when it comes to tire, wheel, and track technology. Let Axon worry about that so you can get back to supporting your customers. Axon has leveraged years of experience to create a streamlined process that gives you a proven path to help today's grower and sell more equipment. The roots of their organization go back almost 100 years to the invention of the rubber tractor tire. Supporting agriculture is the number one driver of Axon, from product development through sales and service. To find more or become an Axon dealer, head over to axontire.com.
Moving iron in the 21st century. Hard-working people working hard for you and me. Moving iron, time and time again. Through the years you'll find us here.